Good Monday, everyone. I hope you had a good Veterans Day and you're enjoying potentially a day off. Let's talk about what happened in the NFL Pick Scrap on Week 10 yesterday, and we'll talk a little bit about tonight's games, or tonight's one game, actually. So, interesting week. It was a difficult week in many ways. Somehow we managed to be up money by win strength, but it did not feel like it. So let's go game by game, and then I'll talk about how everything rolled up together and what we can take away from this week. Because there are there's a lot of information that we can take in from this to really talk about teams in the upcoming weeks and teams like Philadelphia that clearly are not going back to the Super Bowl. So let's talk about what happened, and of course the Saints picking up Dez Bryant. So looking at the scores here, we talked about Thursday night in yesterday's video. On Monday, what we had was a complete and utter miss in this Buffalo Bills-Jets game. We thought there was going to be under, ended up being over. The Jets put up about the amount of points we thought they would, but Buffalo exploded. I didn't watch the game. I don't know what happened, but something crazy there. Just a complete miss, and it hurt because we had a 27% win strength on the Jets there, and it just utterly missed. So it happens. At least the line was pretty bad, so hopefully you stayed away from them because the line was a little distorted. Atlanta and the Browns, if you watched the video with Miss Vegas yesterday, you'll know that I was really kind of counting on the Browns to cause some damage in this game. I thought they were going to get the second win of the season. They had a nice plus 215 line. We had them in point predictions, but we didn't have them in win strength. So it really was a stay away game, but hopefully you did stay away and not take Atlanta. Saints with Dez Bryant, boy, they just exploded for 51 points. Ran over the Bengals. 22% win strength was solid there. The point predictions were a little off because the Saints defense was not calculating as high as we wanted them to. But the Saints did win, and we will know that going forward because win strength really does become a better determinant later in the season here as we have more stats for the season. Skins managed to win by win strength, but I mean, look at their defense really held up to hold Tampa Bay to 3 points. Amazing, just amazing. We missed that utterly in point predictions, but we did have it in win strength, so it was kind of a stay away game. Tough. Patriots, huge loss here. You can see we had basically these scores inverted. Brady did not look healthy in that game. Just trouble, right? So we just had difficulty in these games here. The Colts really was the best line and the best point predictions and the most reliable. This was the game to take. I think you kind of could favor the Colts the way our file was looking at it. They pushed on the spread, but they won at negative 150, so that was a great pick if you had that. Bears were really solid, 41%, 25-9, ended up winning 34-22. They cover the spread there, and that was a solid pick for us, but it was at negative 300. Chiefs did not cover the spread, and we kind of thought they weren't going to cover the spread. So we had that, but I told you to stay away from that game because you hardly get paid anything at negative 1,300. Chargers, solid. Didn't look like it in the first half, but you can see that this is pretty solid here. The Chargers have been very reliable. I'm going to show you in the cumulative picks, in the pick history here, how that looks overall in the season. They've been good. So that was solid. Poor Miami. I guess never listen to me when I say take Miami. I guess there's a little home field bias on my part because I've been to so many Miami games this year. I had them and I lost. So, I mean, I live by it, die by it. And boy, Osweiler just fumbling in the first half. Their defense was non-existent. This 2.25, it makes me want to adjust these C scores even more. I have to dig into why this is doing this because Miami's defense is just miserable. The Packers held on. Rodgers was there. Rodgers says this season is not over yet, and they just crushed them. So that was sad to watch. This game, we hit the over in this game like I knew we would, so that was good. I took the Seahawks because I liked the line here, and I thought that they were going to pull this out. Weird onside kick in the fourth quarter that didn't work out at an inopportune time. I don't know what Pete Carroll's doing there. But the Rams held on at home, and so they managed to win this game. But we did hit that in point predictions, so you should have taken the over. And obviously, Seattle plus 9.5 was a better play here and would have ended up with a win. Now, Eagles and Cowboys. The Eagles are not going back to the Super Bowl this year. It's obvious. They fell apart against Cowboys last night. We had them in win strength. We had them in point predictions, and they just blew it. So that was tough. As for tonight, I really do like the Niners, though, and I think you should load up on the Niners at negative 174. They've got the win strength percentage, and we've got them in point predictions. Is the Giants defense really this bad? Even if it isn't, even if you push that score up a little bit, they're still not going to catch this 34 that the Niners are supposed to put up, kind of like they put up 34 or 32 points last week up against the Raiders, I think it was on Thursday night. So, yeah, I do like the Niners tonight. Now let's take a look at the pick history and talk about what we had here in Week 10. Okay, so we're looking at this pivot table. This is the pivot table that's by win strength. Somehow, 0.24, we end up 0.24 units in Week 10. These are the percentages that we had. Like 71% favorite was Kansas City, 67 was the Chargers. That's really your best pick of the week. Bears also were solid. Then we start to lose some games in the higher percentages here. The Jets blowing it against the Bills. The Patriots blowing it. Just couldn't predict it. I really didn't think. There were some people I was talking to who said that a lot of the players on the Titans are former Patriots, former Belichick players. That clearly affected the game, and they were right about that. So tough loss for the Patriots. Then we clean it up again with the Rams winning by win strength, with the Skins winning by win strength, even though our point predictions were way off there. And, of course, the Saints with Dez Bryant, which we talked about in the video and we did like. Then we lost the game with the Falcons, but I knew the Browns were going to give them more trouble, so you should have stayed away from that. Eagles falling apart. And then we had the Steelers on Thursday night. And then the Packers beat Miami, but I like Miami. And the Colts, we really did like the Colts by point predictions as well. So we're 9-4, really, by win strength. Looks pretty good. Did not feel that way, but that's what happened. Now, on the point prediction side, it was miserable, right? We ended up 5-8. And the only good things that we can take out of this were that this is the number of points that we expected the team that we thought was going to win by point predictions would win by. We thought the Chargers were going to win by 24. They won. We thought the Patriots were going to win. They lost. We thought the Colts were going to win. They cleaned that up. Bears, Eagles, we thought we were going to win, lost. Chiefs, we knew we were going to win that game, but didn't think they would cover the spread. The Jets lost. And then we start to get into these teams where we didn't favor them by point predictions, and you can see that we lost almost all of these negative games. That means this game is a conflict game where we have a conflict between win strength and point predictions. So to see losses down here when there's a negative number here is an okay thing. It probably means stay away. But even if you take all that out of there and say only include the games where the projected score margin is greater than 0, we still didn't have a winning week, down 1.7 units. So it was a rough week for point predictions. Well, it was a better week for win strength. So there are some decent takeaways from this, but in general, it was a very, very difficult week, not just for us, but for everybody. So we'll clean it up in the upcoming week, hopefully, and work on those defensive C scores. But we did win by win strength. So keep that in mind. And we're going to incorporate more of the lines, like something like the Indianapolis line at negative 150, where we really saw them winning the game. That was the best line of all the teams and all the games that we had. And you can see that tonight, the Niners at negative 174, if that's still what the line is, that's a great pick. So I really think we should load up on that. Now, I think we're going to have Miss Vegas back for a hockey video tonight. I did publish a hockey, for the last 4 games, I published hockey picks last night. And we hit all 4 by win strength. So that's comforting because we're having difficulty judging our win strength on hockey, but you can wait for a hockey video to come tonight. So go Niners, and may your pick tonight be winning.